Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome into another installment of the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the Ravens Room, the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City with our loyal Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's week number 8 of the NFL, week number 7 for your now 4-2 Baltimore Ravens. Coming up, we're going to recap the 12-7 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to pass out our grades at F+. We'll get the inside scoop with our Ravens247.com insider segment, also the pros perspective as well, and we'll preview the upcoming game against the Arizona Cardinals. The Ravens Wrap Show is brought to you by our friends at the original Green Turtle, our old digs right down the street. Also the Blue Ox Bar and Grill right here on 127th Street. Also friends at Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, G&G Outfitters, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, well, I mentioned them, and jctickets.net. And we're going to let you know coming up in just a little bit about a great giveaway that we have going on. So you want to get down here to the filmings, your chance at winning a trip for 2 out to the West Coast. We'll fill you in. I'm Mike Bradley, now up at 105.7 to the Fan. To my left, former Baltimore Colt All-Pro safety Bruce Laird. To his left, editor-in-chief for Ravens247.com, Tony Lombardi at OC Local. Yeah. OC Local Lehigh College player John Gehrig, and well,
today you love me this week. They love me.
You'll love them tonight. These guys always get talked
You're
about.
gonna love them tonight.
How they played football. I want you to say for me from now on that I'm 6-time champion of the Parkville men's touch football league.
Will do, Tony. Will
6
do.
consecutive
Shoot me
years,
that email.
51 consecutive wins.
All right, very good, very good.
Hey, Tony, you get your own TV show, you give yourself a title. I got Tom Davis on my show. I'm all world now.
We don't know that.
All world safety.
And we don't have that in the sales kit. We need to get that in there.
Exactly.
That's why we need. That's what's lacking.
It makes all the difference in the world. Watch our ratings climb now. They know that. Parkville, number 7.
Well, guys, facing a team that had lost 5 straight games in the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Ravens totaling 146 yards of offense. 90 of them came on their lone scoring drive, which ended with Flacco hitting Bolden in the back of the end zone to cut the lead down to 9-7 with 2:02 left. They had a franchise-worst 16 yards of total offense in the first half. Didn't get a first down until Ray Rice's 12-yard run with 5:29 left in the third quarter. They went just 2 of 12 on third down, averaged 2.8 yards per play. After the first half, Flacco, who caught his own deflected pass, was tied for the team lead in completions. Bruce Laird, we hark on the Kyle Bowler years. We hark on the Kyle Bowler years and how bad it was. I'm not sure that we had that bad a half of football as Kyle Bowler with as Kyle Bowler at quarterback. That was the worst half of football ever in Ravens history.
It really was, and what a struggle to stay there. And for you wonderful people that went down to Jacksonville, I'm glad the weather was good.
Give
you had
them
a great
some
time.
Absolutely.
I tell you,
It wasn't for lack of the fans, that's for sure.
You did a great job, and you think about that. The only thing that the Ravens needed was a PR move that said that the team got some bad food the night before, and that everybody could not sleep, and they had this one world worst stomach virus. And that's what I would have gone with, because that's how because that's how they played. They played like they stayed out all night and couldn't get out of their own way.
Well, I heard that they stayed after the game, ran 3 plays, and had to punt. Kind of way the day went.
And John, I got to tell you, we're talking before the show here. I'm not even angry yet. I'm still in shock. And it's 3 days later. I can't believe what I saw in front of my own eyes.
It was kind of a train wreck type of deal. It was numbing. We used the bowler word. That's like using the F word on the air.
That's right.
So that's how bad it was. There's nothing more to say. It's bowler-esque. It's worse than bowler.
4th and 43?
How do you do that? Well, I guess I know how you do that.
Oh, there was also a 4th and 29.
10-yard penalty, another 10-yard penalty, then lose 7, and then I mean, you can go on, and you can take, you know, and at least for this coaching staff, this is one thing for the coaching staff, because they can basically go to 80-85% of the offensive football team and say, fellas, you know, if you're all thinking well about yourself and you really and you really feel good about yourself, let me tell you what this week is going to be like.
I'm listening.
Because certainly everybody didn't play badly, but enough people played badly enough that you're going to have, I mean, the statistics that you just said. Mike, I mean, that's atrocious.
It's very bad. We're going to coming up. We're going to, by the way, we're going to compare a game
Where to get the
on
paper
Sunday.
bag?
Well, we're going to get that. We're going to compare a game on Sunday.
When they
This is
asked me if
almost
I wanted
the same.
plastic, I said, please no.
Beer and dog, $13. Ravens trip to Jacksonville, $1,000. Watching Cam Cameron's offense, worthless.
Wow. You gotta laugh about stuff like
You
this.
got to. Guys, the only thing I can say, to be fair, we
I'm
got
not coming out until Ray Rice scores a touchdown.
Got about 20 seconds. The only thing I can say is, and we'll pick this up on the other side, it was a team effort offensively about how bad it was. I don't think that you can point out any one guy, but we'll get into that as we talk about more of the 12-7 Jacksonville win over the Ravens. I still can't believe I'm saying that. We'll talk about that more coming up next. The Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio 93.5 The Beach.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
What's going on?
We're giving Matt the NFL experience of a high-pressure field goal.
Look out! It's terrible, man!
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Hey, it gets easier. Really? No.
It is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, the strongest signal Ravens affiliate here on the Eastern Shore, 93.5 The Beach. Hey, folks, you want to come down, not only do we have great giveaways, we've got a huge trip giveaway coming up November 30th from our friends at jctickets.net. We're giving away free raffle tickets for some Ravens merchandise, but also we've got special blue ones as well for this November 30th giveaway trip. It's a trip in December, that is a trip for two to San Diego. The drawing is going to be here November the 30th, so the more attendance you have here at the Ravens Wrap Show here on these Wednesdays, the Blue Ox, the better. So get on down to the show, and good luck to you. Guys, I wanted to point out, we lose 12-7, the worst half of offensive football in Ravens history. On Sunday, day before, the Cleveland Browns defeated the Seattle Seahawks 6-3. Now, the losing team, Seattle, in this one, they possessed the ball for 17 minutes. They had 9 first downs. The Ravens had the ball for 23 minutes and just 11 first downs in this one. I mean, that's amazing. We had the ball 6 more minutes and just 2 more first downs. They also had 12 less plays than we did. I mean, it emphasizes how bad things are. And guys, I'll go down the line here. Just a few quick numbers, not to bog anybody down, but 9 plays, including negative yardage and penalties, 9 plays for minus 59. That's 17% of the total plays that they had on Monday night. Also, 8 of the 12 third downs they had, they faced a 3rd and 5 or more. And Bruce, as you know, that puts the offense in a heck of a bind. But they put themselves in that bind.
They certainly did. And at the end of the day, what we're seeing now, a little bit of that Houston game, and then you're seeing it come out of Jack Del Rio and his defense. They're pressuring the offensive front with 4- and 5-man pressures, and they're getting to them. They're getting beat one-on-one. And when that happens, I mean, you can schematically, you can get off the twist and you can do some things where you, but when you're starting to get a mano-a-mano and you're starting to get handled up front, you can't let that happen. You got to win more battles. And lately, what we've seen in the last 2 weeks, fellas, we've seen a lot of that offensive front getting beaten man-to-man. And it's glaring now. It's glaring, and it's a copycat league, and it's going to continue this week with the Arizona Cardinals. You can bet that.
You know, and Mike, we talked about already, and we're going to belabor this point, I'm sure, throughout the show about how badly the Ravens offense played. But the Jacksonville defense really played well, I thought, because they were very, very well prepared, and they were fast to the ball. They kind of reminded me of a Ravens defense, how quickly they got to the ball. And when you do that, you do the things that Bruce said. I mean, they were beating every guy man-on-man, and as we've heard time and time again from scouts and from players and from coaches, when you know your assignments really, really well, you can play as fast as you are, and they played very fast.
John, let me ask you, Mike Preston had an article in The Sun the other day and said, look, we know the Ravens are trying to evolve into more of a passing team, but they simply don't have the offensive tackles to do it. We thought with Michael Orr going back to the right side, he was going to be better, and Bryant McKinney was at least going to be a short-term answer. That's not been the case. They're in a pickle right now.
You have to use your personnel, and we talked about this last week. Just give the ball to Ray Rice. I mean, one sure way to improve your pass protection is to run the ball, and and change in snap counts. And you have to be a little more creative. You have to use intelligence. You have to use other assets. If you don't have the physical skills to beat the guys one-on-one, then you need to use something else. And getting these guys in a groove. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just getting them into that Mueller mentality and hand the ball off and get them pushing these guys around a little bit.
You know, John, what's interesting too, let's say you've gone through 2 3-and-outs and you're in your Cam Cameron and you realize this is what we're having. We got regular people or 3 wideouts. We're getting a 5 underneath, 2 over the top. It's called double man in the NFL. We're getting that coverage. Well, how do you get out of a situation like that? Here's how you get out. You go to 2 tights. You get the trips and motion back and forth, and you get that situation where you pound the football. No one is going to run double man against 2 tights and trips and situations like that, where you may even have 2 backs in the backfield. It doesn't do you any good. You got to get in it. So then you pound the football. You get them. If you're getting beat by something, you go to something else and you get them out of it.
And what's the point? And what is the point of the 2 tight ends? And what is the point of Vontae Leach that we bring in here? I mean, he's getting more action in the passing game, it seems, than he is getting 2 back sets and just a power running attack. If we can't, we talked about this up there, if you're struggling with that double man, run the ball and get him out of the double man. So I don't get it. I mean, we're going to say that all night.
Cam Cameron doesn't get it either, because the thing is, Joe Flacco gets a lot of heat. You know what? He deserved a lot of it because he played a really bad game. But Cam Cameron, the game plan that he had, the guy doesn't make in-game adjustments. And if you dial this show back to, I bet you, the Titans game, a little bit last week after they played the Texans, and we fast forward to when we play Cincinnati, we're going to hear the same kinds of conversations that Bruce is pointing out in terms of mano-a-mano and how these guys are undermanned and the zone, deep zones. The same thing happens over and over, and Cam Cameron that's his Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And that's his kryptonite. He cannot go out. He cannot attack that defense.
And again, you got Vontae Leach. That's why you brought him in there. Get in those situations, and that's what I thought we were going to see, gentlemen. I really did. I really thought we were going to see a lot of 2 tights, a lot of trips, motion in and out, get some things going and pound the football. Move the line of scrimmage. But I was worried because of what happened with Houston the week before we were down there.
You know, this is one of the worst run defenses in the league. Are we out of time?
Yeah, we're just about. We'll pick it up with
so it's one of the worst run defenses. Let's throw. Okay.
John, we'll pick it up next as we continue talking about the Ravens' 12-7 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars here on the Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach. From the Ravens Room of the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway. Ravens Roost 44 with us once again. Give us a hand as they game very loyally. All right, now our sponsors want to thank Original Green Turtle, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, also FlyLady.net, Bud Light, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and our friends at JCTickets.net, and they're the ones giving us that trip for two to San Diego. You want to come down here, raffle tickets to be given to you at the drawing on November the 30th. A couple of notes, big programming note, by the way. Next week, Ravens owner Steve Bisciotti will be with us on the show. So
in the house.
So you definitely want to be here for that one. We're definitely looking forward to that. It's always a good time, and we'll have plenty of fun and plenty of questions with that one too. I also want to thank Terry French and the folks at the Dispatch. We got a picture in the faces portion, and I think pretty darn good picture, if I may say so myself.
The crew looks pretty good.
So, guys, we're gonna pick
Amazing what Photoshop can do.
That's right. Pretty good for some radio guys over the last couple of years.
Bruce looks like the youngest guy there.
I know.
It's great when you can doctor that stuff up.
Where's the fountain of youth?
Let me tell you something. The NFL retired player group is going to go with this move. This comes from the Ravens Roost 44. It's the Baltimore Ravens travel bag, and I'm going to put it out there for all the teams that travel. And you can just do, Pittsburgh Steelers travel bag. You can do whatever, but I'm going to bring this up. It's a travel bag, and this here is so perfect. For those times when your team makes you sick. Isn't that priceless? Just a programming note. I'm going to make some money with that. Thank you.
Is this reusable?
You can afterwards, yeah. You can just,
John, you were talking about, or giving your thoughts about the loss. And one thing, too, I want to bring up to you, because having played offense in the tight end position and been on that offensive line, how much...
And I played for Parkville Touch Football.
That's right.
51 consecutive wins.
He played 14 years.
He was still playing when he was 30, and the kids were still 12.
Yeah.
I just got that.
He's right there, Tony.
He won again.
How much do you think the lack of OTAs and the fact that they've changed the practicing with, you can only hit, one time a week, and during the course of the year, everything's cut back into how much contact the offensive lineman can have? To be fair to some of those guys, do you think that's played a part in their ineffectiveness, especially at the tackle position?
Doesn't seem to have affected Cam Newton or some of these other rookie quarterbacks.
I'm not talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about their line, though.
Well, I mean, these guys are just big, mauling dudes. It's the easiest thing to go out there and hit the guy that's across from you. So, no, I mean, McKinney's just seems to be getting worse, not better.
But he is a former Pro Bowler that has played in a passing offense for several years, so it's not like he's not been elite at that position doing that.
Well, I understand, but I mean, it's almost in reverse. If it was an OTA issue, he should be getting better. He's actually regressing and getting worse. And, the offensive line's struggling, clearly, and we just need to – sometimes you just get into a funk. When you're playing sports, whether it's a baseball player who's just in a slump and, you just can't get the swing down. You go into the cage, you take 50 swings, and you kind of snap out of it, and you hit the ball up the middle, and you try to break out of it. Well, we have that cage. That batting cage for us is Ray Rice, and we're just not giving him the ball. And when the offense gets moving and you do get some first downs, then the passing game will open up. Just trying to force a quarterback who doesn't look like we talked about this last week. He just doesn't look either interested or understand. One of the two. He's not getting it. And his football IQ now is subpar, and he could just be that he and Cam are in a funk.
Now, to your point, Ray Rice, 8 carries for 28 yards. John Harbaugh said he's got to get more than 8 carries. I also think when you're a play caller, you're searching for things to get you going, to get you jump-started. It wasn't like those 8 carries were gashing them or anything like that. And on the one series, Ray Rice, first play, he fumbles the football. He had a drop pass.
2 drops.
2 drops. He was targeted 8 times in the passing game. Did have 5 catches, but 2 drops. So I don't disagree with what you're saying, but he also didn't have the typical Ray Rice game that we're used to on Monday night either.
Well, I mean, back to your point about no contact. I mean, I think Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays are always been in the league up until this new CBA, where you put your shoulder pads on, you kind of dress up, you bang a little bit. You have the one-step bang, and no one's ever tackled, no one's ever doing that. But you do go through one-on-one drills, you go through that, which is, again,
it's some type of simulation.
It's absolutely. It's full speed, and it's banging each other. And if they're not doing that, it's a disservice to all of us athletes, because you have to hone your skills. You can't take 6 days off and go out there and just hit golf balls and putt around, and then go on a golf course and play strong competitive golf if you're not doing everything you need to do. So if it's having that, I think it's affecting the whole league.
I'm not trying to make excuses.
But it's the whole league, so it's the other side.
Everybody's in the same.
I think everybody's in the same boat. There's no question about it. Some people are doing better than others. But this team, obviously, in the last 2 weeks, is lacking offensive cohesiveness. Let's face it. I mean, you can't sugarcoat it anymore. You can't make any excuses for it. They got to find a way to fix it.
All right, coming up, we'll talk more in depth about this loss and the offense and their identity, and we'll also get the insider's perspective from Ravens247.com editor-in-chief Tony Lombardi. More of the Ravens Wrap Show coming up next. Comcast Speech TV.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
Come see us at Blue Ox.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
Broadcasting from the Ravens room here at the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Mike Bradley, we've got Bruce Laird, Tony Lombardi, and John Gehrig. Guys, before we talk more about the loss, because there's a lot to talk about, as bad offensive performances that is, it's going to take the time, and we do want to talk about the defense too, which was spectacular. But Tony, some information, our Ravens 24/7 Insider segment, we'll devote some of the time to talking about the loss, but what do you have? I mean, the one guy that we haven't seen for weeks and weeks and weeks now is Ben Grubbs. What's the deal with him? Also, can you give us an update on Lee Evans?
Well, from what I've been told about Ben Grubbs is that, that we've all heard this turf toe thing. What is turf toe? It has a lot to do with your tendons, and Bruce described it last week. But I'm told that 2 of the tendons attached to his toe on his right foot are shot, and there's a chance he might not come back at all this year.
That's huge. I mean, obviously that's huge.
There's a chance, but sometimes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe he can get to go for a game, but then he's probably going to be on the shelf a game or two after that.
Right.
Lee Evans, they're talking. He didn't practice today, and they're talking like
Wednesday.
or Wednesday, and he's probably going to be week to week again. I thought they were going to save him for the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Now I'm not so sure. I just think they're going to wait till he's ready.
I think that's the real mystery injury. Right. The Lee Evans injury is like the real mystery one to me. I mean,
because at least with Grubbs, you know what you've got.
Yeah, I mean, because it could be, as you know, it could be the tendons, the ligaments, whatever's in. It could be something A lot more. I mean, if they're afraid and if it's pulled off or all that, you know, you got to have your toe. But this high ankle sprain,
10 of them.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, the high ankle.
Yeah, he's doing what Lonnie Lott did, right?
I mean, you got to be kidding me.
And
he had some history of last year not doing well. And again, for coaches, when Harbaugh starts going like this, I think today or yesterday, when John said, "I don't even think about it anymore." I'm thinking in terms of they're not coming back because, quite frankly, this is what they think. They'll never say it. You can't make the club in the tub. And no matter what you're talking about, if you're an injured commodity to both that organization, coaching staff, and the other players, you're doing nothing for you.
But the thing
it's a hard reality, but at the end of the day, I've never been injured that long. I've missed only 3 or 4 games, but I've been around guys that have been out weeks and weeks. You're there, but you're not really there. I mean, people look around you. You're not part of anything. But you're sitting in a room when everyone is just not even talking to you. It's a terrible feeling.
Well, I haven't had any exposure to Andy Moeller, but you know, at some point they changed the blocking scheme on particularly running. It's more of a zone blocking.
It's all zone stretch,
and that's different than what we had a little bit of a combination of that last year. The year before that, it was completely different.
Right.
But what's
tackle trap?
I gotta wonder how these guys are being coached up. I mean, Andre Garrod is getting his clock clean, and I know he's moved from center to guard, but at the same time, this guy's a 5-time Pro Bowler. What's going on? I don't know. You hear anything in the locker room?
No. I mean,
you see him on the sidelines. You know, how engaged is he in?
Well, when I'm at home games, that's what I love to do because I love to get on those glasses, especially when both sides come off the field. I like to see who's interfacing, who's doing this and that. And again, that offensive line is a little bit more cohesive than the defensive side of the ball. But at the end of the day, I don't see the coaches gathering everybody and going through the things like other people do.
I agree completely. There's no leadership on that offense. There's no leadership in the coaching staff. There's no leadership on the field. When your quarterback is supposed to be a leader, he's so blasé and passive. I know as a fan, I'm sure all you guys were pissed off watching that game, particularly you guys that went down to Jacksonville. Why isn't somebody on that offense pissed off? I didn't see any emotion at all.
And you know,
that pisses me off.
Yeah. And you know, it's one thing if you take care of it behind closed doors at halftime, but there's no indication that whoever the leader of the offense is did anything of the sort because, John, they sure as heck didn't look fired up in the second half, and he sure as hell didn't play like it.
Well, it's the second time. You underperform in the first half against Tennessee. They did the same thing. Talked about they came out flat. Well, they came out flat again in the second half. So you would think that going into halftime that Harbaugh would have lit them up. Something would have triggered somebody. And Flacco really needs to be the guy. We talked about this last week. He's the most important position in all sports, and he needs to come out and slap these guys around and inject some fire.
They need to play the Al Pacino speech.
He doesn't do it. That's right.
We got to claw for that inch.
They're 6 inches in front of your face.
Right.
We're going to... You know,
tear ourselves to pieces for that inch. Do it for your face.
But nobody's looking the other guy in the eye, and no one's willing to go the extra inch.
Well, and speaking of inches, okay, and we got to bring this up. A real critical call about 60 seconds. Billy Cundiff on his kick at the end of the game. There, John Harbaugh decides to go for an onside kick, 6 inches short of 10 yards. Instead of kicking it away, making them get a first down, making a rookie quarterback drive. How can you possibly explain that away? And yet he did try the next day.
He took 293 words of explanation today, Harbaugh, to say what he meant to say was I effed up.
Yeah.
He had a decision was
bad. He took 293 words to say spin doctor it.
You can't. We got 20 seconds. You can't explain it.
I mean, I was shocked as well, and I just thought, he was probably so darn ticked off just as a way to go. He just said, I'm gonna roll the dice. It's just like, I'm all in. I got 2 aces, I'm all in.
All right, coming up, we're going to talk about the defensive performance, which did come to play. We'll also talk to Bruce about the offense, defense. We'll talk about that next. Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
From the Blue Ox in the Ravens Room, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. I want to thank our sponsors, the original Green Turtle, of course, our friends here at the Blue Ox, Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Ravens247.com, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, and our friends at JCTickets.net. You want to come down to as many tapings as possible of the show here because we've got blue tickets to give away. Your chance of winning a trip for two to San Diego in December. We'll draw the trip on November 30th. But we also have some great Ravens giveaways as well. And John, you've got the red tickets to give away, so pick a lucky winner here.
Is it true that the trip to San Diego is on Steve Bisciotti's private jet?
We're working on it.
Especially if I'm going.
You got to so that's where Bruce comes in. Your tour guy.
I start coming.
He's going to pull the strings for you. So. Oh my God.
As long as we have some Bud Lights and cigars, we may be able to talk them into.
Yeah. Plenty of that next week.
All right, here it is. Get your tickets out. I'm only giving you 5 seconds. And 2 of them are already up. 551, the last 3 digits.
551.
Janelle! Again!
Janelle.
Is that another one? We had a winner last week from the crew. All right.
They're getting lucky, though.
They're building their own man cave. I mean, last week they got the, what do they have?
Whatever you like.
No man cave going on.
They
got the rug, right?
They got the rug last week. Now they got the pennant. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Before we get in, Bruce, I know before we get into, you had some questions about offense and defense. I know, Tony, you had something you wanted to talk about.
Right. Quarterback, the Parkville Touch.
The Parkville Touch football team.
Right.
You had some comments quickly about Ray Rice.
No, what I was going to say is, that Ray Rice got the ball 8 times. We talked about that. Concerns about fumbling, but this is your playmaker. Maurice Jones-Drew is the Jaguars' playmaker. He fumbled 3 times. He got it 30-plus times, and it made a difference in the game. At some point in time, your playmaker is going to make a play. He's proven it time and time again. You give the man the rock.
What would we be talking about if MJD doesn't fumble going in? And it's,
oh, my God, it's over.
Yeah, I mean, in the score, it's a complete blowout.
He doesn't fumble on the 1-yard line.
Yeah, blowout almost, basically.
Yeah. I mean, and again, you're looking at that, but let's face it. Again, I've said this over and over again. I played long enough.
14 years.
He's a star.
I knew that. I remember that.
He's a star. Your stars, you want them to play that way consistently, but they're not. They never can do that. No one ever can. So Ray didn't have a really good game. Missed some blocks, missed some kick throws, didn't get going.
He got trucked on that one.
Sure, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things. He didn't play that well, but no one else really played that well. And that manifested itself. But not everybody on the offense played bad.
That goes back to the funk. You know, if a guy's struggling, if Pujols is not doesn't hit a home run every time up, you don't drop him the 9th in the lineup.
I get you, John, and I'm saying again early on in this program, I said they should have said, well, you know what? If we can't move that, we're going to go to 2 tight, so we'll throw some jumbo. We're going to just try and maul them off the ball. And if they can't do that, then
there is no plan B.
Can't. Yes, right. That's what you're saying. There is no plan.
And guys, even though obviously not the NFL, not the college level, but having called plays before, I'll just say this though. And I don't disagree, adjustments weren't made that needed to be made, but when you're on first down, you run the ball for 2 yards, you set up a 2nd and 8. That's tough. When you throw the ball on first down, even a minor completion, and that doesn't happen, you're now 2nd and 10. Makes it very difficult. You're trying to search for answers, and while they didn't get it to him enough, I'll also say that, again, the entire offense had a tough day, and I'm not sure that any play that was called was going to get run that well on Monday night. Those guys got their backsides handed to him by Jackson.
But if Flacco's if he's 2 for 10 or whatever he is, and it's 2nd and 8, let's just go 3rd and 6. Let's go 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4. Because now it's going to be 3rd and 8. Chances are, the odds are, it's going to be 3rd and 8. And then odds are even better, it's going to be punt. So, I mean, the whole deal is you can go out there and try to throw the ball and say, oh, Flacco's got to complete a pass. No, he doesn't have to complete a pass because he's clearly not going to complete the pass.
Well, understood. But if you're also getting 2 yards a carry, 3 times 2 is 6, and you're going to be short of getting the 10 yards for first down. Bruce, let me ask you this. Right. You've been through a season where the defense has been so dominant, the offense has not been very good. At what point during a game, if at all, do you maybe go up to some of the offensive guys, give them encouragement, or maybe even give them a little slap on the backside and say, let's get going? How does that work?
Well, it really all depends. Usually during the season, you don't get much into their face unless it's one of those situations. And then at that time, if you're friendly with a guy and you know him well enough, you go up and you don't give them encouragement. You bust their chops. You tell them, listen, I'm here out working my tail off. You guys ready to play or not? Why don't you talk to your teammates? Are you guys taking a day off? Because if you're taking a day off, you should have told me. Because I'd have taken the day off. I mean, it's a very, you got to understand something. It's a very, very competitive business. We're all competitive with ourselves. Every practice in my generations, in my season, I was competing against the quarterback, the receivers, and you bust each other's chops because it's not fun out there. You're working really hard. You want to be competitive, and it's all about you getting the edge. And that's why you got to go. You got to go and live on that edge because every Sunday that's what it's happened. That's what happens to you. No one's going to give you much.
Like that guy Clarence on that movie Stripes. He says, if you mess with my stuff, I'll kill you.
That's it. All right, we'll talk more about this game.
Ray Lewis.
We'll talk more about this game.
I'll kill you.
And the defense and the upcoming game next on Ravens Wrap Show.
JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net. Win a trip to San Diego for 2 when you attend the Raven Wrap shows at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill on 127th Street. Get 1 free raffle ticket for every show you attend, Wednesdays, 7 to 9 p.m. Drawing is during the November 30th Ravens Wrap Show.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
What's going on?
We're giving Matt the NFL experience of a high-pressure field goal.
Look out! It's terrible, man!
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Hey, it gets easier. Really? No.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
Back in, it is the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, 93.5 The Beach, from the Ravens Room, the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City. Shh, I feel like I'm in a library.
Man cave, baby.
That's all right. Hey, everybody, understandably, is riled up after the loss. I don't blame them, and I think now the emotion's starting to come out for me a little bit. I had to do the in-game up in Baltimore on the radio, so imagine watching this and having to keep your language in check, or being right there in the dump button and saying that he did what, he said what. It's not easy to do. And I tell you what, I didn't expect a lot of calls because, we thought it was going to be
you were going back and forth to the World Series, back to the
we thought it would be a fairly...
They were watching the World Series, believe me.
They might have been.
I tell you what, broadcasters said,
I got a full bag of
football. If you're watching this game, you have to have an emotional attachment to one of these two teams. I mean, they're on ESPN. I think Gruden said that.
Yeah.
If you're still watching this game, you have to have an emotional attachment to one of these two teams. Otherwise, turn it over to the World Series.
A couple of things, though, that some of the callers brought up that I didn't agree with, but I'll get your take. I don't think, though, that it was a case, by the way, and the defense, we want to talk about defense and say, I don't think it was a case that the Ravens took Jacksonville for granted. I really don't. You got a number of reasons, one of which is you got Cincinnati and Pittsburgh nipping at your heels. Now Pittsburgh's, a half game up because they're 5-2. But before that, the Ravens had to defend themselves in the division. In addition, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati had beaten Jacksonville. So if we're looking at tiebreakers at the end of the year, potentially head-to-head matchups, Jacksonville was a team that those two teams have beaten. The Ravens need to have. I'm just not buying that the offensive performance was they took them for granted. They just got their butts kicked, and they whatever they need to do mentally, physically, need to get better. I'm not buying that excuse, though.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, I'm not sure that the players actually think about those things, tiebreakers.
Well, fair enough.
But I don't think the players do. But what the players do think about is that you're on Monday Night Football.
There you go.
And you're the only game going on at that time, and all your buddies throughout the league are watching you. They do not want to lay an egg like that. They didn't defensively. They were just, I don't even have to talk about the offense. We know what happened there.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on about the offense. I'll just try to surmise it, guys. We want to talk about the defense quickly. I will say this, and John, I agree. With Joe, one of the issues with him is processing information, in a quicker fashion. He's not doing that. But I also say you're looking at a season here where you're trying to go to a vertical passing game.
Well, Stop trying to go to a vertical passing game.
Well, but John, as you know, the last couple of years, we haven't had any vertical threats. Defenses have sat on our passing game, and what's happened? We go so far into the playoffs, and then that's it. Our offense has kept us back for the most part of going to the Super Bowl. They need to at least try. As you know, if you're going to get into a shootout with Green Bay or New Orleans, John, you better have a passing game that's above average.
Let's deal with that when we get
I understand, but you better have a passing game that's above average. So to say, well, let's not do that. Well, John, you're going to lose in the playoffs.
Is that team getting to the playoffs?
What
team that gets 56 yards of offense with 5 minutes to go in the game?
They still may end up getting there, but I'm just saying they're not going to get to the Super Bowl. You better try to throw the football vertically. If you're going to stick with what you're saying, then they're never in the Super Bowl.
Flacco's a 50% passer. They criticize and crucify, and pun intended, baby, for Tim Tebow for being just a 50% passer. That's all Flacco is. This is not, as we talked about last week, this is not a new deal. This is not Joe Flacco one bad game. The signs are there. Turn around, hand the ball off until he gets some confidence, and then let him sling.
You're trying to
has zero confidence, and it's not working.
I understand, but at the same time,
snap him out of it, and let Ray Rice help him.
You're also going from 3 years.
And I don't understand Cam Cameron. He can really get everyone off his back if he just wakes up, take a cold shower, throw that playbook away. Get Billick's playbook.
I'm just saying, you're taking 3 years of one passing game, and you're going to a brand new passing game, and you got the tackles that are and that's fine. And this team's never going to win the Super Bowl.
Let's look at this. The St. Louis Rams. We had 3 big pass plays in 1 quarter. 3 plays. We had 3 plays in 1 quarter of football against the Rams, and we think that we're a vertical passing game. We had four touchdowns, I think, in the last 14 or 15 quarters. 4 in like 4 games. John, offensive touchdowns.
John, I'm just going to say, if you play Green Bay or New Orleans in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, I guess it is, if with your philosophy of run, and occasional pass, are you going to beat those teams? The answer is no. Because the defense is only going to hold those guys down for so long.
His only point to you is, and I'll play devil advocate, he's got to get to the playoffs. In order to get to the playoffs, you got to win football games.
It's a given. I hear you. They're straddling a tight line right now.
At the end of the day, offense gets you to the playoffs, and defense wins you Super Bowls. But in this league, you got to have offense.
Vince Lombardi run the same play over and over again to make him stop.
He's a smart guy.
we run the same play over and over again until it works. We're the opposite. Oh, it's not working. Let's run it again.
John, I think we're on the same page.
It's not working. We'll throw it again. He's 2 for 7. He's got to get this one. 2 for 8. Well, he's got to get this one. 2 for 9. He's got to get this one. All right, punt it. He'll get the next one.
All right, quickly. We got about 40 seconds. Bruce, being the defensive guy, I'll just say this. Defense played a hell of a game, as usual. I mean,
they certainly did.
4 field goals.
And they should have. And let's, I mean, you got a rookie quarterback. You got one guy, Maurice Drew or whatever.
James Drew.
Yeah, you got 9 names. Give him another one. So you got Drew running the football. At the end of the day, they couldn't stop him. He got his 100 yards, but they held him to
below 4 yards a carry.
Right, and they held him to no touchdowns. You got to win those games. You hold people to 12 points. You look at the end of the day on the plane. You look at the partners and say, where were you?
All right, we'll preview the upcoming game against the Arizona Cardinals next.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
BBC Ravens Wrap Show here from the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio and home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. I want to thank our sponsors, the original Green Turtle, our old digs down the road, 116th Street. Of course, all the folks here at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Bud Light, FlyLady.net, the Ocean City Golf Club, G&G Outfitters, Comfort Inn Gold Coast. I'm still trying to memorize this. Ravens247.com and JCTickets.net. Mike Bradley, Bruce Laird, Tony Lombardi, and John Gehrig. And guys, the upcoming game against the Arizona Cardinals at 1 o'clock, maybe just what the doctor ordered. Just to go through the Arizona Cardinals, much in the same way that the Jacksonville Jaguars were 1-5 coming into the game. Just to run down quickly who they played. Opening day win against Carolina, 28-21, although they gave up 422 yards to Cam Newton, rookie quarterback in that one. They lose to the Redskins, 22-21. They give up 12 unanswered points in the fourth quarter in that one. They lose in an ugly game, 13-10 at Seattle. They lose in a close one, 31-27 to the New York Giants. They lose 34-10 to Minnesota the next week. Adrian Peterson had 3 touchdowns in that one, 122 yards.
What position is Adrian Peterson?
He's a running back.
Okay. I wonder if Cam is making a game.
Yeah, and that's with Donovan McNabb at quarterback, so not much of a passing game there. And then they lose to Pittsburgh last week, 32-20, as Pittsburgh threw the heck out of the ball. Ben Roethlisberger was 26 of 39 for 361 and 3 touchdowns. And so needless to say, I think we were 28th against the pass. Jacksonville was 8th, so it's a big difference there. But needless to say, our receivers, they can't take anybody lightly, especially after that game.
You know, Mike, this is a team coming into the bank that's won 1 game, that lost 5 in a row. Their whole division have played 24 games so far. Their whole division, that's whoever was in that division. They've won 8 games.
5 of them by San Francisco.
Right, and 5 of them by
Arizona, San Francisco, St. Louis,
right,
and
Seattle. And if you don't feed and get well on this football game, but then again, I'm still wary because I saw and I wanted to watch Arizona play Pittsburgh because we had that Monday night. We were able to look at that. Let me tell you, they sent it after Ben Roethlisberger. They sent a lot of stuff, and Ben made them pay. They're going to do the same thing to Joe and company with this offensive line playing the way it is.
You could,
both
offensive lines.
It's going to ditto. They're going to send it in, and let me tell you, if they can't get some big plays, it's going to be trouble at the bank.
Tony, how do you see them approaching this game? We talk about, crisis identity. The Ravens trying to become more of a passing team, whether it's working or not. They're trying to do that. Cam said that actually the other day. We got to make these passing plays work in the transition. Obviously, they didn't the other night. But how do you see them coming out? I mean, I think it's going to be very telling. They run the ball a lot. Maybe they'll go back to that run-based approach.
Well, I think they should, and I think that they have to. And the thing with the Ravens, when Joe Flacco's at his best, it's when they have play action going and they've established the running game and they're getting positive yards, 4 or 5 on first down. That's when he's at his best, and that's when he can sit back in the pocket and be comfortable. When he's not at his best is when they lose on first down. We talk about this on the show all the time. That's what. But the way you establish that rhythm and to get this offensive line into their game, I think they're better pass blockers too once they get it going on the ground.
Certainly, John, your thoughts?
Well, and that's all goes back to shaking it up a little bit. And if we can't if the offensive line is struggling, changing the snap count, getting up to the line of scrimmage, reading
Thank
the
you,
defense.
the snap count. Oh my God, the cadence.
We've talked about that, guy. We've talked about that for 4 years on this.
Hut one. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, getting up to the line of scrimmage. I mean come on.
Have some imagination. Long count. I mean, pause. Do all the things, because those guys who have their hands in the dirt, they love that. They feed on that. If they really start feeling that they can start getting the feel for that, they cheat. They cheat constantly.
And as much as they love it, the offensive linemen
hate it. I mean, the offensive lineman, I used to call back and used to say to Burt Jones, come up with something else, man, because these guys are going like, come fetch.
So, John, do you see the Ravens also coming out and running the football? Are they going to still try to push that passing attack?
Well, I think they'll come out balanced, but I mean, we're not balanced. We're a passing offense, and that's just the way it is. We keep saying we're balanced.
Passing offense.
What's that?
A bad passing
offense. And we're not balanced because we say we're going to run. We're going to use the pass to set up the run. Well, when we use the pass to set up the run, you throw incompletions. There is no running. So then you're just a passing offense.
And here's my killer before you go, Mike. Here's my killer. Here, and it happens. It is still happening. okay? You're not doing anything. And it's 3rd and 7, and they run a play-action pass.
Yeah, no one's buying that.
I mean, who's buying that?
And he's not selling it.
You haven't run for any.
Coming up, we'll preview more of the Arizona Cardinals game. And the Stallion gives his picks next. So Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV.
Welcome to another edition of the Stallion Sports Minute here on Ravens Wrap, and we're in St. Pete Beach, Florida, home of the future Super Bowl, but it looks like after last week, we will not have a Super Bowl anywhere because there's no celebrations. That was the ugliest game I think I've ever seen in the history of mankind, not even getting a first down to 5 minutes and 34 seconds to go into the third quarter. Are you kidding me? I hope all you people that went to Jacksonville, it was a long trip back. But I want to tell you one thing, they're going to win by about 30 this week. Arizona is a team that cannot compete with the Ravens, and look for them to step on the wagon here now, baby. It's time to circle the wagons, and Flacco's got to step up to the plate. I think he'll have a big game this week, but make sure you turn into my Stallion Sports Picks blog so I can give you some college football picks, and I'll still be on Blistering Fire. Even tied with Cleveland. Only Cleveland could give me a tie. Stick to the program. Bingo, baby.
G&G Outfitters, Inc. is a premier full-service in-house provider of branded merchandise and marketing solutions. With over 20 years of proven experience, G&G continues to successfully produce branded merchandise for some of the world's leading corporations, associations, and teams. From start to finish, G&G Outfitters is your single-source, one-stop partner for promotional products, logoed apparel, and all of your branded needs. For more info on the services and capabilities of G&G, visit ggoutfitters.com or call 301-731-2282.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you can win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Are you embarrassed to invite people to your home to watch your favorite football team? Well, don't worry, because you're not alone. FlyLady.net is the support you need. Join us and our more than 600,000 members and learn how to crush the clutter and game plan your way through routines that'll help you organize your home and your life. Tackle clutter and get your home game day ready with FlyLady.net.
Welcome back in. It is the Ravens Wrap Show here for the Blue Ox in Ocean City. Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand once again for coming out. I know it was a rough Monday night, and guys and gals went down there. 12-7 loss, but we do have to move forward. The Arizona Cardinals coming up at the bank, as Bruce likes to say, M&T Bank Stadium, 1 o'clock kickoff in this one. By the way, just real quickly, we're going over some stats during the commercial break, and Ray Rice has been in, and you're right, it depends when we've been up, and I got to get that, when we've been leading and trailing. Ray Rice has been in on 30% of the total offensive plays. Also, to your point, we're on average throwing the ball 9 more times a game than rushing. It's somewhat significant. I'll throw you a bone on that one. The Arizona Cardinals, guys, we're talking about offense in the last segment. Let's talk a little defense as well. Kevin Cobb, the big trade from Philadelphia, he's having a rough year. He's got 7 touchdowns but 7 interceptions, only completing about 58% of his passes. Larry Fitzgerald still having a pretty good year. He's definitely one of the top 3 or 4 receivers in the league. But we're talking about yards after catch, only averaged about 3 after that. Just 2 touchdowns, and teams have been doing a pretty good job of somewhat containing him because he doesn't have the secondary guys. Early Doucette, their second leading receiver, hasn't evolved the way that they would have liked him to. Todd Heap, who we know in Baltimore, he's their 3rd leading receiver. Jeff King, another tight end. And then a second-year guy at the Citadel, Andre Roberts, a guy that they like a lot, but again, hasn't really blossomed yet. So it's a passing offensive struggle. Running-wise, Beanie Wells is averaging 4.6 yards a carry. So, they've They've got a little bit better run the pass, which is surprising.
Speaking of Beanie Wells, he got hurt against the Steelers. Here's the deal with the Ravens.
6 touchdowns, by the way. Go ahead.
I figured it out. When the Ravens have 8 months to prepare for a team, or have a major injury, the other team has a major injury,
we're golden.
Then we're going to win the game. All right. Yeah. So we had 8 months to prepare for the Steelers. We had Andre Johnson and Mario Williams out. We had Nick Mangold out. We had half of the St. Louis's team out.
Oh, to be fair, Lee Evans was out for us. Cole Grubbs has been out. Jimmy Smith's been out.
But I'm just saying, that's the indicator, And now we have Beanie Wells likely to be out with this knee, bone or some strained knee or something.
So Alfonso Smith and the law offices of Larod Stevens howling.
Beanie Wells has been running well. He's going to be out. Ravens are going to win this game big, baby. All the indicators are lined up.
Well, Bruce, defensively, what do you do against this offense? I mean, Larry Fitzgerald's going to command attention. We talk about Andre Johnson not being there for Houston, but boy, you better have a safety over top of Larry Fitzgerald.
Well, without a doubt, we'll see what Cobb and company come in with. Ken Wisenhut as the head coach of Arizona. He's been there for 4 years now. He's been basically a winner ever since he's got there. So we'll see what happens. I think you're going to see a lot more 3 wides than you used to before, and they're going to mix in the run and the pass. But the big thing for the Ravens, which they have been doing, if you look at their first quarter stats, they have been getting up on teams and not letting them score. So they start relatively early good, the Ravens do in the first quarter. It's their second quarter that they're having trouble with, and that's what we'll see. The Ravens, again, with a football team like Arizona coming in here, have got to play a strong first 30 minutes. Get them to feel like that they're going to lose and take the long ride home. But I don't know if they can anymore.
Yeah, I heard Jack Del Rio talking about going into this game how the Ravens they've owned the first quarter throughout the season up until this past week, where it was, I think,
it was like 55-9 or something.
It was something crazy. So they like to put the pedal to the metal to start off with. And I think Bruce is exactly right. In the first quarter, they do really, really well. Then when the other team starts to make adjustments, we adjust a little bit more slowly than they do. The key stats that jump out at me, and I know Mike's a stat guy, but the key stats that jump out at me are the Ravens are ranked 24th in the league in third down conversions offensively, and they're 28th in the league in the red zone, the worst among teams with winning records. I think those are the Achilles heel of that offense right now.
Yes.
Our defense, obviously, if there's one shining point in that Jacksonville game, was the defense. The corners have played very well. Ladarius Webb, Kerry Williams. Larry Fitzgerald poses a threat, but how do you see our defense coming out? Just typical, get after it, pressure Kevin Cobb?
Yeah, I mean, particularly if Beanie Wells is out, he was running on the Steelers. Now, I know it's not hard to run on the Steelers this year.
Surprisingly.
But he was looking good. He had as you mentioned, 6 touchdowns. When Beanie Wells is out of the game, and now you're going to we talk about it every week, about when a team is one-dimensional. And now that just more attention is going to go to Larry Fitzgerald. And really, the defense should feast. They probably scored a touchdown this week, I think.
I think Ed Reed's going to play on Russell Street.
Yeah, that's right.
He's going to be out there.
But, by the way, you talked about week 1, Todd Heap being gone and his loss. Right now, Todd Heap, and I know he's been hurt a little bit, but that's part of it. 13 catches, 150 yards, no touchdowns. Ed Dixon this year, 22 catches, 223 yards, and 1 touchdown. So, a little bit better, but I would agree, though, that we haven't seen Ed Dixon as much as we thought this year. Hopefully we'll see him more. But about 60 seconds, so we got to go down the line and get our predictions for this one.
Well, obviously, the way the Ravens play at home and the way John Harbaugh and his coaching staff come at the players and the organization comes at each other to get ready after a big loss, I think the Ravens will prevail. But I think, again, until this offensive line gets their act together, it's going to be a close game. I think 24-13, Ravens.
Well, I think, I like cupcakes, and the Ravens got one this week. 24-10, Ravens.
34-13. I don't see much of a game here.
All right, I do see more of a run-based approach, and I'm going to go with your score, 24-13. That's going to do it for us, the Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Speeds TV. Go Ravens. We'll see you next week.
Ravens Wrap is brought to you by Bud Light, FlyLady.net, Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ravens247.com, the original Green Turtle Sports Bar and Grill, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.